Hello, my amazing listener. Welcome back to Code Your English, the place where we don't just learn English, we transform through it. In today's episode, it's going to reach into your heart, because maybe no one ever told you this. You don't need to be fluent to be brave. You don't need to speak perfect English to speak powerfully. You don't need to wait until you're ready to begin. You just need to start. You just need to open your mouth and speak, even if your voice shakes. This episode is for the dreamers, for the learners, for the quiet ones who've been practicing in silence, for the ones who've been waiting to feel ready. And if that's you, this episode is for you. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever stayed silent, even when you knew the answer? Have you ever avoided a conversation, even though you really wanted to speak? Have you ever told yourself, I'm not fluent enough yet. I'll wait until I'm more confident. I don't want to make a mistake. If you've ever thought those things, I want to tell you something gently but honestly. Those thoughts are stealing your voice, and you deserve better. Because the truth is this. Fluency doesn't come before bravery. Bravery comes before fluency. You don't suddenly become confident and then start speaking. You speak first, scared, nervous, unsure, and confidence comes later. I know that might sound backwards, but every brave learner I've ever met started before they were ready. They started with broken sentences, mispronounced words, and shaky grammar. They started with fear in their throat, but they kept going. And that's why they speak powerfully today, not because they were fluent from the beginning, because they were brave in the beginning. So if you're learning English right now and you feel stuck, afraid, ashamed of your mistakes, please hear this. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need the courage to try. Why? Because your message, your voice, your story matters, and the world needs to hear it. We're going to go deep in this episode. We're going to talk about the fear of speaking. We'll talk about real stories from learners just like you. We'll talk about what fluency really means and why it's not the same as communication. And most of all, we're going to break the belief that says you're not enough yet, because you are enough. Right now, with the English you have, with the courage that's already inside you, you just have to start using it. So take a deep breath with me right now. Inhale, exhale. You're safe here. You're not being judged. You're being supported. This is your space to grow. Are you ready? Let's begin. Let's begin by talking about something you may have never been taught. Fluency is not the goal. Connection is you could memorize every grammar rule, every verb tense, but still feel frozen when someone asks, "How are you today?" Why? Because it's not just about the words. It's about the courage to use them, even if it's messy, even if it's slow. Even if you forget halfway through what you were trying to say, fluency is not speaking fast. It's not having a big vocabulary. It's not sounding like a native speaker. Fluency is flow. Flow comes from letting go. Letting go of fear. Letting go of shame. Letting go of the need to be perfect. So many people are stuck, not because they're bad at English, but because they're afraid to speak it. They've been told, your accent is too strong, or you don't sound right, or you're saying it wrong. And little by little, they stop trying. They stop answering questions in class. They stop joining conversations at work. They stop believing in themselves and their voice. The one that wants to grow goes silent. But not today, because today we're taking it back. You deserve to speak, not later, not when you're ready. Now, let me tell you a quick story. I once met a student from Vietnam. She told me she studied English for over 10 years. She knew grammar. She passed tests. But when she went abroad and tried to order coffee, she froze. Her hands shook. Her voice disappeared. She came back home and said, "I don't think I'll ever be good at speaking." But then she told me something else. She said, "I realized I've never practiced speaking out loud. I was too scared of sounding wrong." So I asked her, "What if you let yourself sound wrong on purpose, just for one day?" She laughed. She didn't believe it at first, but she tried it. She practiced speaking badly, loudly, with a friend, in a mirror, to her phone, and something changed. She realized the fear of sounding wrong was worse than the actual mistake. She told me once I let myself make mistakes, I became free. And after that, I started improving, because here's the secret. The more you speak, the better you get. But the more you wait, the harder it becomes. You don't need to speak perfectly. You need to speak consistently. One sentence a day, one short conversation, one voice message, one brave moment at a time. That's how fluency is born. It's through bravery. In action. So let me ask you, what's one English sentence you can say today, out loud, even if it's not perfect? Can you say, "I am learning"? Can you say, "I will try"? Can you say, "Mistakes help me grow"? Speak that sentence. Say it with your real voice. Feel how powerful that is. It's not just about language. It's about reclaiming your courage. You are not your mistakes. You are not your grammar errors. You are not your accent. You are your message. You are your effort or your voice, and it deserves to be heard. We're just getting started. Let's keep going in the next part. Let's talk about fear. Because if you've ever avoided speaking English because of fear, you are not alone. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people stay silent. But here's what most learners don't realize. Fear is not a sign that you're weak. It's a sign that you care. You care about how you sound. You care about being understood. You care about doing well. And that's not a bad thing. But when fear controls your voice, steals your power. Let's get really honest for a moment. Have you ever felt this in your body? That tightness in your chest, the racing heart, the voice that says, "Don't speak, you'll mess up." The feeling that everyone is watching, judging, waiting for you to fail. If that sounds familiar, breathe. You're not broken, you're just scared. And that's okay. You're allowed to feel fear, but you are not required to obey it. Fear says, "Be quiet." Courage says, "Speak anyway." Even if your voice shakes, even if you make a mistake, even if you get stuck mid-sentence, because fluency doesn't come from silence. It comes from struggle. Every fluent speaker you admire, they all started just like you. Saying he go to school instead of he goes to school. Saying "I very like" instead of "I really like." Getting nervous. And forgetting the word for bathroom or water or tomorrow. But they kept going. Because every mistake was a teacher. Every awkward moment was a step forward. Every small effort was building fluency in the background, so please don't confuse fear with failure. Feeling afraid doesn't mean you're not ready. It means you're about to grow. The moment you feel fear is the moment your comfort zone is being challenged. That's where learning lives. Not in safety, but in bravery. Let me share something with you. There's a phrase I tell my students all the time. Simple, but powerful. Mistakes are proof that you're alive in the language. If you never make a mistake, it means you're not using English, you're thinking about it, studying it. but not living it. Real progress comes when you get in the game, not just sit in the classroom. And yes, your voice might shake. You might forget a word. You might say something funny or confusing, but you'll also learn, you'll grow, you'll remember the moment. Next time it'll be a little easier, because bravery gets stronger with practice. So here's your next challenge. Find one moment today, just one, to speak English out loud to yourself, to a friend, to your teacher, to your voice recorder. Just speak. Don't wait to be fluent. Speak to become fluent. Don't wait to be confident. Speak to become confident. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be willing. That's what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Let this be the moment you choose courage over comfort. We're not done yet. There's more to uncover. Let's go even deeper now, because this isn't just about English. This is about the way you see yourself. You see, many learners don't quit because English is hard. They quit because of what they believe about themselves. They tell themselves, I'm not good at languages. I always forget everything I study. I sound stupid when I speak. No one wants to talk to me. And slowly, quietly, they stop trying. Not because of the language, but because of the story they're telling themselves. But here's the truth. You are not your story. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the voice in your head that says you can't. You are the one learning, the one trying, the one growing. And that matters more than any mistake ever could. You don't have to be the best English speaker. You just have to be your English speaker. Speak with your accent. Speak with your level. Speak with your emotion. Speak with your truth. Because your voice, exactly as it is right now, has power. Power to connect. Power to inspire. Power to be heard. Let me tell you a story from one of my students in Brazil. He told me, I always thought people were laughing at my English. I avoided speaking. I would just smile and nod, even when I didn't understand. But one day, something changed. It was at a grocery store, and the cashier said something fast. He didn't catch all of it. But instead of pretending, he said with a kind smile, Sorry, my English is not perfect, but I'm learning. Can you say that again? And guess what? The cashier smiled back, slowed down, and said, No problem, I understand. He told me that moment changed my life, because he realized people aren't expecting perfection. They're looking for connection. And when you stop hiding, you start connecting. So maybe that's the message you needed today. You don't have to be fluent. You just have to be real. You just have to try. You just have to show up. Imperfect, human, and brave. And little by little, the fear gets smaller. The confidence gets stronger. The words come easier. But it doesn't happen from waiting. It happens from doing. Speak badly until you speak better. Speak slowly until you speak naturally. You speak with confidence. You're not failing. You're becoming. Let's keep this journey going. We're not just learning English. We're reclaiming our voice. Let's talk about a common feeling every English learner faces at some point: embarrassment. That hot feeling in your cheeks. That urge to disappear when someone asks you a question and you don't know how to answer. That voice in your head saying, I should have said it better. I sounded stupid. You're judging me. If this has ever happened to you, I want you to know something very important. It's okay to feel embarrassed. But you don't have to live inside that feeling, because here's the truth. Everyone who speaks English as a second language has had embarrassing moments. Yes, everyone. Even the ones who speak fluently today. Even your teachers. even professionals. Embarrassment is not a sign you should stop. It's a sign that you're growing. It means you were brave enough to try, and that is something to be proud of. Let me ask you something. Do you remember how you learned to ride a bicycle? Did you get on the bike and ride perfectly on the first try? Of course not. You wobbled. You fell. Maybe you even cried, but you got back up. Again and again, because you weren't trying to look cool, you were trying to learn. Eventually you did. Speaking English is the same. You will stumble. You will mix up words. You'll forget things mid-sentence. And yes, sometimes people won't understand you. Sometimes you'll feel awkward. But if you can stay in the moment, if you can breathe, smile, and keep going, you'll get stronger. Embarrassment only has power if you let it stay inside you. But when you laugh with it, when you learn from it, it becomes part of your confidence. Let me tell you something powerful. Confidence is not the absence of mistakes. It's the ability to keep going despite them, and that's a skill. You can grow every single day. So the next time you feel embarrassed, try this. Pause. Take a breath. Smile. Yes, even at yourself. And say gently in your mind, that was just a moment. I'm still growing. I'm proud I tried. That one little sentence can completely shift your energy. You go from feeling defeated to feeling determined in that shift. That's bravery. So here's a question for you today. Can you remember a time when you felt embarrassed while speaking English, but you kept going? Think of that moment. Now reframe it. Instead of calling it a bad memory, call it a brave memory, because it was. And it deserves to be remembered that way. You are not weak because you struggle. You are strong because you continue. And that strength, it will carry you further than you can imagine. Now let's talk about something powerful, connection. Because at the heart of language, at the heart of every word we speak, is a desire to connect, to share something, to be heard, to feel understood, to express what's inside us. And that's why I want to tell you something really important. You don't need perfect English to make a real connection. You don't need big words or long sentences to touch someone's heart. Sometimes one simple sentence is enough. Like, I'm happy to meet you. I'm trying my best. I don't know the word, but I'll try to explain. Can you help me understand? Itties aren't perfect lines, but they are powerful because they are honest, because they are human, because they come from your real self. Not a script, not a textbook, but you and you. That's what people respond to. We've been told for so long that we need to sound native to be respected, that we need to hide our accent, we must avoid mistakes. But the truth is, people don't connect to perfection. They connect to emotion, connect to effort. If someone sees you trying, if they see you choosing courage, they will listen. And if they don't, that says more about them than about you. Your voice is worthy no matter what level you're at. Let me share a beautiful example. Woman from Colombia joined an English-speaking club online. She was nervous. She said, I can't speak well. My English is small. But then she told a story, short emotional story about her family and why she wants to learn English. She spoke slowly. She paused often. But the room was silent, listening, and when she finished, everyone clapped. One person said, your story touched me. Another said, you speak from the heart. That's what matters. And that day she realized she didn't need perfect English. She just needed to speak with honesty. That's what made her message powerful. Not the grammar, the vocabulary, but the courage to share what was real. So if you're waiting for the day when your English is good enough to connect with others, let me tell you, that day is already here. You don't need to say more. You just need to say something. Even, hello, I'm learning. Even, sorry, I don't understand. Even, can you say that slower? These small phrases open doors. They build bridges. They start friendships. They begin conversations that might change your life. So don't underestimate the power of your words, even the simple ones. You don't need to impress. You need to express. The moment you stop trying to sound perfect and start trying to be present, your English begins to bloom. Now it's time to talk about something that silently blocks so many learners. Comparison. You start your day feeling good, ready to learn, excited to practice, and then you scroll. You see someone on social media speaking perfect English. See a classmate answering quickly and confidently. You hear a friend who started learning after you now speaking better than you. And suddenly, your motivation disappears. You tell yourself, I'm not good enough. I'll never catch up. What's wrong with me? But I want to stop you right there and gently remind you of something. Comparison is not truth. It's a trap. It takes your focus off your journey, puts it on someone else's. It makes you forget how far you've come. It makes you ignore the courage you've already shown. It makes you feel small in a space you're meant to grow. Let me say it clearly. You are not behind. You are not too slow. You are not failing because someone else is ahead of you. They're just on a different path, with different steps, different strengths, different stories. Their journey is not yours, and yours is not theirs. Here's what comparison does. It steals your energy. It distracts you from your progress. It turns learning into a race instead of a relationship with yourself. But fluency isn't a competition. It's a personal path. So what if you took all that energy, all that time spent comparing, and turned it inward? What if you asked yourself, what's one thing I've improved this month? What mistake do I now understand? What's one small step I took today that my past self would be proud of? Those questions bring you back to your power, because when you compare yourself to others, you often feel smaller. But when you compare yourself to yourself, you see growth, real, honest, powerful growth. Let me share a story from one of my learners. He used to feel stuck, always comparing himself to his coworker, who spoke fast and confidently. He said, I feel so stupid when I speak next to her. So I asked him, how long has she been learning English? He said, since childhood. And I said, and you? He said, 3 years. I paused. Then I asked, would you expect a 3-year-old child to speak like an adult? He smiled, because that's what he had been doing to himself, expecting 15 years of fluency in 3 years of effort. It was unfair. And once he saw that, he relaxed, started focusing on his progress. And slowly, the shame melted away. You deserve that same peace, so next time you catch yourself comparing, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, what am I proud of today? Even if it's small, even if it's messy, even if no one else noticed, you noticed, and that's enough. Celebrate your pace. Honor your voice. Trust your process because your journey is your own. Let's talk now about one of the most powerful, simple tools you can use to build confidence, to build fluency, and to build courage every single day. That tool is speaking out loud. To yourself, yes, to yourself. You don't need a native speaker. You don't need a classroom. You don't need perfect vocabulary. You just need your voice and your willingness to use it. Because here's the truth. If you only keep English in your head, it will stay quiet. But when you speak it out loud, even alone, your brain starts to build new connections. Your mouth gets used to the sounds. Your ears learn to listen differently. And slowly, your confidence begins to grow. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Let me give you a few simple ways to practice this. 1. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Yes, really. Look at yourself and say, how am I feeling today? What do I need to do later? What did I learn yesterday? It doesn't have to be long. Even 2 sentences a day is powerful, because the goal is not perfection, it's practice too. Describe what you're doing. This is great for building real-world vocabulary. For example, I'm making coffee right now. I need to wash these dishes. I'm going to pick up my phone. You're training your brain to think in English as you live your life. Point 3. Repeat phrases. You hear in English shows or podcasts, hear a line that sounds natural. Pause, repeat it. Say it again with your own emotion. This builds rhythm, flow, and confidence. 4. Record yourself. This might feel awkward at first, but it's gold. Record yourself reading something or talking about your day. Then listen back, not to criticize, but to understand, where did you feel strong? Where did you pause or hesitate? How can you improve? This is metacognition in action, thinking about your thinking. And it builds powerful self-awareness. Remember, you don't have to wait for someone to practice with. You can create your own speaking opportunities right here, right now, wherever you are. You just need to make a decision. My English will not live only in my mind. It will live in my mouth and in the world. You can be your first listener, your first supporter, your first coach. Because if you wait for someone to give you permission, it might wait forever. But when you give yourself permission, everything changes. So here's your small challenge today, : say one thing out loud. Just one. It can be, I am learning. I am brave. Or even, I don't need to be fluent to speak. Say it. And feel your power rising, one word at a time. Let's get real for a moment, because not every day feels exciting. Not every moment feels brave. Some days, you just feel tired, empty, unmotivated. Maybe you've said this to yourself before. What's the point? I'm not improving. I'm still making mistakes. Why even try? If you've felt that way, you are not alone. Learner? Yes. Every single one hits this wall sometimes, and it's okay. Motivation is not something we have all the time. It's something we return to, gently, over and over again. Let me explain it with a simple image. Think of motivation like a flame. Some days it burns bright, strong, alive, unstoppable. Other days, it's barely there, just a little spark. But even a spark is enough to begin again. And your job is not to keep the fire burning perfectly. Your job is to protect the spark, even when you don't feel motivated. Even when the progress feels invisible. Even when it feels like you're going nowhere. Keep the spark, because progress doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's small. Sometimes it's invisible, until one day you look back and realize how far you've come. Here's a truth many people forget. Discipline keeps going when motivation takes a rest. And discipline doesn't mean pushing hard every day. It means doing something even when you don't feel like it. Maybe that something is watching a 3-minute video, saying one sentence aloud, reviewing 5 words from yesterday, or even just sitting quietly and reflecting on why you started these small actions. They don't seem big, but they build something stronger than motivation. They build momentum, and momentum, even slow, is powerful. Let me share something personal with you. There was a time I wanted to give up creating content. I felt like no one was listening. I doubted myself. I thought, why am I doing this? But I reminded myself, if even one person hears this and feels stronger, it's worth it. That one person might be you, right now, listening, growing, becoming braver. So maybe your English journey isn't for the crowd. Maybe it's not for perfection. Maybe it's for you. To prove to yourself that you can keep going, to prove that your voice matters, to prove that you are stronger than you thought. So if today feels hard, let it be small. Let it be simple. But don't let it be nothing. Say one word. Read one sentence. Take one breath. And remember, you don't need motivation to show up. You just need a reason, and your reason, your why, is already inside you. Let's talk now about something that surprises many learners. Your emotions, even the difficult ones, can actually become your fuel. Yes, even your fear, even your frustration, even your self-doubt. These feelings don't have to stop you. They can guide you. They can teach you. They can push you forward. If you learn how to listen to them instead of fighting them, let's start with fear. Fear usually says, what if I make a mistake? What if people laugh at me? What if I sound stupid? But if you look deeper, what is fear really saying? It's saying, I care. I want to be accepted. I want to do well. That means your fear is not your enemy. It's a sign that this matters to you. Now think about frustration, that moment when you've studied something 5 times and still forget it. That moment when you freeze in conversation, even though you know the vocabulary. Frustration is a message too, saying, I want to grow. I want to be better. I'm tired of feeling stuck. What if you started listening to those feelings instead of pushing them away? What if you let them show you what needs attention, what needs care, what needs change? Because emotions are energy, and you can use that energy to move, to try again, to shift direction. Let me share a powerful habit. Emotional check-in. Once a day, pause. Ask yourself, what am I feeling about my English today? What's underneath that feeling? What's one thing I can do with that energy, even if it's small? For example, if you feel fearful, maybe speak to yourself in a safe space. If you feel frustrated, maybe try a new method, different teacher, or a rest day. If you feel doubtful, maybe write a list of everything. You've already learned this is how we turn emotions into tools. Not things to avoid, but signals to explore. Because being brave doesn't mean having no emotion. It means walking with your emotion. It means saying, I'm scared, but I'll try anyway. I'm frustrated, but I won't give up. I doubt myself, but I'll keep going. That's real strength. That's real growth. Let me share one more thing. You are allowed to feel everything. You can be proud of your progress and still wish to improve. You can be tired and still take one small step. You can feel fear and still be so brave. This journey you're on, it's not just about speaking English. It's about knowing yourself, honoring your truth. It's using your voice even when it trembles. Let's talk about building something powerful, a speaking habit, not just speaking once in a while, not just waiting for the perfect time, but creating a small, strong, consistent habit that helps you grow your confidence a little more every day. Here's something important to remember. You don't need 2 hours a day to improve. You need 10 minutes with intention. That's it. 10 minutes a day. You can do that, right? Let me show you how. The 3-step daily speaking habit. Step 1. Warm up your voice, 2 minutes. Say anything out loud. It doesn't need to be perfect. I'm starting my practice now. Today I feel a little tired, but I'm trying. Weather is hot and I want some coffee. Why? Because speaking like moving your body needs warm-up. Your voice gets more confident the more it hears itself. Step 2. Focus practice 5 minutes. Pick a small, clear topic. Stick to it. Here are some simple speaking prompts. What did I do today? What's one thing I'm thankful for? What's one goal I have this week? What do I love about my culture? Speak freely. Don't write. Just speak. You can even record it and listen back, not to judge, but to understand yourself. Step 3. Reflect 3 minutes. Ask yourself 2 simple questions. What felt easy today? What felt hard? And how can I try it differently tomorrow? This reflection is what builds self-awareness. It's how you stop repeating old mistakes and start growing with purpose. You see, a habit doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be real. Let me share something beautiful. I learned from one of my podcast listeners. She told me, I stopped waiting for big study days. I started giving myself 10 minutes while walking. I'd whisper in English, talk to myself. At first it felt silly, but then I started feeling braver and my words started flowing. That's the power of habit. It doesn't just teach you the language. It teaches you who you're becoming. And here's the key. Don't focus on how perfect it sounds. Focus on how often you show up. Because the more you show up, the easier it gets. The stronger your voice becomes. Fluency doesn't come from one big study session. It comes from 1,000 little moments when you chose to try. And you can begin. Those moments today, right now, take a deep breath. Say one sentence. Smile and know you are building something beautiful. One small step at a time. Now let's talk about one of the heaviest fears many English learners carry. The fear of being judged. You want to speak? You want to practice, but something stops you. Not because you don't know the words, but because you're afraid of how people will react. What if they laugh at me? What if they think I'm stupid? What if they correct me in front of others? What if I freeze and can't continue? If these thoughts live inside you, you are not weak. You are human. Because being judged, being misunderstood, being seen in your vulnerability is scary. But here's the truth I want you to remember. Most people are not judging you. They're admiring your effort. You may think they're noticing your grammar mistake, but they're noticing your bravery. You may think they hear your accent and laugh, but they hear your accent and say, wow, they're learning. And if someone does judge you, let's be honest, that's about them, not you. Because only someone insecure, only someone small-hearted mocks a person who is trying to grow. Let me ask you something. If you saw a child trying to walk, would you laugh when they fall? Of course not. You'd smile. You'd cheer. You'd say you're doing great. Keep going. Now here's the deeper truth. You are that learner. And you deserve the same kindness. From others, yes, but more importantly, from yourself. You must become your own safe space, your own supporter, your own protector. Because no matter how people respond to your voice, it's still your voice. It still matters. Let me tell you a story. A young man from Thailand told me he used to stay silent in meetings. Even though he had ideas, even though he wanted to speak, he said, I was scared they would laugh at my accent. But then one day I realized something. If I never speak, no one will ever hear my ideas, and that would be worse than being judged. So he started. Slowly, one sentence here, or one comment there. And guess what? People listened. Not because he was perfect, but because he was present, because he showed up. That's what brave people do. They speak even when it's uncomfortable. They speak even when their hands shake. They speak because their message matters more than their fear. And so, do you doubt your message matters? You don't have to wait until no one judges you. You just have to care more about your growth than their opinion. Here's an affirmation. You can say to yourself, when fear rises, I am not here to impress. I am here to express. Repeat that when your voice shakes. Repeat that when the fear of judgment comes in. Repeat that every day until your truth becomes louder than your fear. Now let's talk about something that many learners feel ashamed of. Your accent? Let's pause here for a moment. Have you ever felt embarrassed by your accent? Have you ever wished your English sounded more native? Have you ever stayed silent because you thought, they'll know I'm not from here? They'll hear my background? They'll think I'm less smart because I don't sound like them. That's ever crossed your mind? I want you to hear me clearly now. Your accent is not a mistake. Let me say that again. Your accent is not a mistake. It's a part of your story. It's a sign of your courage. It's proof that you speak more than one language, that you've lived a life rich with different sounds, different words, different roots. An accent does not mean broken English. It means bravery and progress. And anyone who tries to make you feel less because of your accent, it's not someone who understands what strength really is. You don't have to erase who you are. To become who you're becoming, let me ask you something. When you hear someone speak English with a French accent, or a Spanish accent, or a Japanese accent, do you think less of them? No, you probably think, oh wow, they're bilingual. They're expressing themselves in a second language. That's impressive. So why not give yourself the same respect? Why are you so kind to others, but so hard on yourself? Your accent carries your roots, your history, your journey, and the world needs voices like yours, not polished copies. Not perfect clones. Real voices. Authentic voices. Voices that reflect the beauty of difference. Let me share a real example. I once met a woman from Egypt who said, I try to hide my accent because I think people won't take me seriously. But when she spoke in a group discussion, everyone listened. Not because she sounded American, but because she sounded clear, confident, human. And someone told her afterward, your accent is beautiful. I love how you speak. That moment changed how she saw herself. She said, maybe I don't need to change how I sound. Maybe I just need to change how I think about it. Yes, exactly. So here's the shift. Don't try to lose your accent. Try to speak clearly with it. Clarity is more important than imitation. And you can practice that without losing your identity. Here's a gentle reminder. You're not trying to be someone else. You're becoming a more courageous version of you. Your voice with your sound. Your rhythm, your music is already enough. Now let's talk about real conversations. Because studying is one thing, but speaking in the real world, that's where it gets challenging. You prepare your vocabulary. You think you're ready. But then someone talks to you, and your brain freezes. You forget the words. You feel the pressure. You get nervous, and all that confidence disappears. Sound familiar? Let me tell you something important. Speaking well isn't about saying everything perfectly. It's about staying calm enough to keep going. You don't need to have a fast response. You don't need to say everything in the most advanced way. You just need to stay present. Let's break this down together. Why you freeze in real conversations? Your brain is doing too many things at once. You're trying to listen, translate, think of a response, worry about mistakes, and manage your nerves. That's a lot. No wonder you feel stuck. So here's what helps. Simplify the goal. Don't try to be perfect. Try to be understood. Don't try to impress. Try to connect. And most of all, breathe. Strategies to speak calmly and clearly. Let me give you some tools you can use in real conversations, even if your English is limited. 1. Buy time when you need it. Instead of panicking when someone asks you a question, say, "Let me think for a second. That's a good question. I'm not sure. Maybe." This gives your brain time to find the words, and it's something even native speakers do. 2. Use simple structures. No, you don't need fancy grammar. Use short, clear sentences. I like this because, in my opinion, I'm not sure, but I think the listener cares more about understanding you than judging your grammar. 3. Admit when you're stuck. Honestly, if you forget a word, try this. "Sorry, I forgot the word." It's like, and explain with simple words. "Can I say it in a different way?" This shows confidence, not weakness. You're managing the conversation, and people respect that. 4. Practice speaking with pressure. The more you won't practice in real time, the easier it becomes. Join language exchanges. Talk to friends or colleagues in English for 5 minutes a day. Set a timer and speak about a topic. No stopping, even if you struggle. This builds your tolerance for pressure, and you'll feel the fear start to shrink. Let me remind you, your goal in conversation is not to be perfect. It's to stay present, even if your voice shakes, even if you mess up, even if you need to pause. You're speaking. You're trying. You're showing up, and that's what matters. Because every conversation, no matter how awkward, is a win, a step forward, a piece of growth, a little more courage. Now let's talk about something that happens to every English learner at some point: correction, or even worse, criticism. You're speaking, you're trying, and then someone interrupts with, "That's not how you say it. You used the wrong word. Your grammar is wrong." And suddenly your heart drops, your voice shrinks. You feel embarrassed, ashamed, like maybe you shouldn't speak at all. If you've ever felt that, I understand. Correction can feel like a spotlight on your weakness. It can hurt, especially when it's public or said without kindness. But here's what I want you to remember. Correction is not rejection. It doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean your English is broken. It simply means you're learning. Someone noticed something you can improve. That's all now. Does that mean all correction feels good? No, some people correct you kindly, others not so much. So let's talk about how to handle it in a way that protects your confidence and supports your growth. 1. Breathe first. React later. When someone corrects you, pause, breathe. Don't let shame take over. Just because someone pointed something out doesn't mean they're against you. Breathe. Then choose your next step. 2. Decide. Was this helpful? Ask yourself, did this correction teach me something useful? What? Was it said with kindness? Or just criticism? Do I want to improve this area? Or is it just a small mistake that doesn't matter right now? You don't need to accept every correction. Some things can wait. Some things can be ignored. Some people aren't teaching. They're just showing off. Learn to filter. 3. Thank. Then continue if the correction is useful. Respond simply. Ah, thank you. Got it. I'll try to remember that. Then move on. Don't over-apologize. Don't shrink yourself. Don't make it a drama. Corrections are just part of the learning game. Handle them with grace and keep playing. 4. Reclaim. Your power after criticism. If someone corrects you rudely or makes you feel small, that's not your fault. Some people don't know how to give feedback with kindness, but you get to choose how you carry it. Remind yourself, I'm still learning, and I'm proud of that. One mistake doesn't erase my courage. Rather speak with mistakes than stay silent with regret. Those words, they're armor. They protect your confidence. They bring you back to your power. Let me tell you a quick story. A student once told me, someone corrected me in front of everyone and laughed. I felt so small I didn't speak for 2 weeks. But then she said something powerful. After that, I realized, I let one person take away my voice. I don't want to live like that. So I started again. And I'm speaking now. That's strength. That's healing. So you can do too. So remember, a mistake is not a problem. But silencing yourself because of fear, that's what stops growth. Speak anyway. Correct what you can. Ignore what doesn't help. And keep your confidence close. Let's talk now about something that's often overlooked. Daily English practice. Not the kind that happens in a classroom, not the kind that comes from textbooks, but the kind that happens in real life. In your room, in your kitchen, on your walk to work. In the little moments, because here's a truth that can change everything. You don't need a teacher to practice speaking. You need awareness. You need to notice the opportunities that already exist in your day. Opportunities to think in English, to speak out loud, to name what you're doing, to reflect, to grow. So let's look at a few ways to turn your daily moments into speaking practice. 1. Narrate your actions as you go through your day. Talk to yourself softly or in your mind. I'm making coffee now. I have to leave the house in 10 minutes. Where did I put my phone? This trains your brain to associate English with everyday thinking. Soon it becomes natural. 2. Use English while doing routine tasks, cleaning the room, folding laundry, doing the dishes. Great, that's your practice time. Choose a topic and talk about it while you work. What did I do today? What do I want tomorrow to look like? What's something I'm grateful for? It's private, no pressure. Just you and your thoughts flowing in English. 3. Label objects around. You look around. What do you see? Table, chair, wall, clock, fan, bottle, keys, window, light. Say the names out loud or go deeper. This chair is uncomfortable. That clock is slow. My phone is charging. You're training yourself to live in English, not just study it. For reflect at the end of the day before bed. Speak or write a few sentences. Today I felt tired, but I finished my work. Made one small mistake in English, but I tried. Tomorrow I want to be more confident. This creates self-awareness. It also builds the habit of using English to process your thoughts, not just to memorize words. 5. Practice thinking aloud while watching or reading. If you watch an English video or read an article, pause and respond out loud. I agree with that. I don't understand this part. that word is new for me. You're not just consuming English, you're interacting with it. Let me remind you, you don't need big, dramatic practice sessions. You need small, honest moments done consistently. Because those little moments, they build comfort, build clarity, they build confidence, and over time, they build fluency. Let me share something a student once told me. He said, "I started using English while brushing my teeth, just short sentences in the mirror. After 1 month, I didn't feel shy about my voice anymore. That small change helped me speak more freely at work." Small practice can do the same. Start with what you have, where you are, the time you already live in. Your daily life is not separate from your English journey. It is your English journey. Now let's talk about something that many learners struggle with.
What?
If no one around me speaks English, maybe your family doesn't speak it. Maybe your friends prefer your native language. Maybe your environment just doesn't support your English practice, so you start to wonder, can I really improve alone? How can I practice speaking if I have no one to talk to? Is it even worth trying if my world doesn't support this language? Let me say this clearly. You can still grow. You can still become confident. You can still speak powerfully even if no one around you speaks English. Here's why. Because the most important person in your learning journey is you, your effort, your voice, your belief, your practice. Let's break down how you can build real growth, even in a non-English environment. 1. Turn your environment into your teacher. Label things in your room in English. Put sticky notes on your fridge door, mirror. Change your phone language. Set your calendar and reminders in English. Make your world breathe English, even if just a little. The more your eyes see the language, the more your mind holds it. 2. Create a listening environment. Evan, if people don't speak English around you, you can fill your ears with the language. Listen to English podcasts while cooking, English YouTube channels, while walking, English music while getting ready in the morning. This makes English feel familiar, and familiarity reduces fear. 3. Speak aloud, with or without an audience. Sit. Wait for someone to listen. Talk to yourself. Narrate your day. Practice answering common questions. You don't need an audience to improve. You need repetition. You need willingness. 4. Use online communities. Join speaking clubs online. There are free groups on apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, or even WhatsApp. You don't need 100 people. Even one partner can change everything. Speak 5 minutes a week, then 10, then 20. It adds up, and your confidence will grow. 5. Be the first. In your circle, if no one around you speaks English, maybe you'll be the one to inspire them. You'll be the one who shows what's possible, the one who leads, the one who chooses growth, even when it's lonely. And that makes your voice even more powerful. Let me tell you something beautiful. One of my students lived in a small village where no one spoke English. She didn't have a teacher. She didn't have a tutor. She had an old phone and a desire to speak. So every day she'll listen to English podcasts. She repeated what she heard. She recorded herself reading out loud. She wrote daily reflections in simple English. 2 years later, it gave a speech in English at a national event, not because of where she lived, but because of how deeply she committed. That's the power of persistence. So if you're learning English in a place where no one else understands this journey, you're not alone, you're not behind, you're becoming. Let's talk now about a quiet, heavy feeling many learners carry. The desire to give up. You've been learning, you've been trying, You've been speaking, but one day something hits you. It's too hard. I'm too tired. I haven't improved. I'll never be fluent. Maybe I should stop. And in that moment, it feels easier to walk away, to stop trying, to silence your voice. If you've ever felt this, let me tell you something important. You are not a failure for feeling like quitting. That feeling is normal. It's human. And it doesn't mean you should give up. It means you need to rest, to reset, to remember why you started. You see, progress isn't always forward. Sometimes it pauses. Sometimes it circles back. Sometimes it gets quiet before it grows again. And when you hit those moments, the key isn't to push harder. The key is to come back gently. Let's talk about how. 1. Pause without shame. If you need a break, take it. But take it with love. Don't say, I'm lazy, I'm weak, I'm not good enough. Instead say, I'm tired, and that's okay. I'm listening to my body. I'll return when I'm ready. This mindset protects your passion. 2. Reconnect with your why. Did you start learning English? Was it for a better job? Did you travel freely? To make international friends? To understand the world in a new way? Close your eyes. Picture that version of you. The one who dreamed big, one who believed. That version of you still lives inside. They're just asking you to come back. 3. Restart with small stepstone. Try to do everything at once. Just do one thing. Listen to one video. Say one sentence out loud. Write one simple journal entry. Review one word you forgot. That's enough. To restart your momentum, and momentum is what creates magic. 4. Celebrate the restart. Tray starting is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of strength. Every time you come back, you're choosing growth over comfort. You're choosing belief over doubt. You're choosing your voice. That's not weakness. It's power. Let me tell you a short story. A learner once told me, I gave up for 2 months. I felt like a failure. But one day I heard your podcast, and something woke up in me. I realized I didn't have to be perfect. I just had to come back. I'm speaking again now. Yes, that's what this is all about. Not being perfect, not being fluent, but coming back again and again. Your journey is not over. You're just in a quiet chapter. That's okay. The page is still open, and you can turn it whenever you're ready. Let's talk now about something that can change your entire journey. Joy? Yes, joy. Because sometimes learning English starts to feel heavy. It's like pressure, like homework. It's like something you have to do instead of something you get to do. But learning a language shouldn't only be serious. It should also feel alive. It should make you smile. It should surprise you. It should make you feel human again. Because joy is not a distraction. Joy is a fuel. So if English has started to feel boring, frustrating, or exhausting, let's talk about how to bring the joy back. 1. Learn through what you love. Stop forcing yourself to study materials you hate. Instead, follow your curiosity. Love cooking? Watch recipes in English? Love comedy? Find short, funny skits. Love travel? Watch Travel VLOGs. Love motivation. Listen to podcasts like this one. When you connect English to your passions, it no longer feels like studying. It feels like living. 2. Play with the language fluency. ISN. Just about tests and grammar. It's about feeling free to experiment. Make silly sentences. Try tongue twisters. Imitate funny accents. Translate your favorite song and sing it in English. Record yourself acting out a scene from a movie. These small things bring laughter, and that laughter builds confidence. 3. Celebrate the little wins you. Said a full sentence without stopping. Celebrate. You remembered a word at the right time? Celebrate. You understood a whole video without subtitles? Celebrate. Don't wait until you're fluent to be proud. Be proud now, because joy comes from noticing your growth while it's happening. 4. Learn with people who light you up. If you're studying with people who make you feel judged, it's time to find a new space. You deserve to learn in an environment that feels safe, supportive, fun. Whether it's a tutor, group chat, or an online community, surround yourself with energy that lifts you. 5. Use English to express, not just impress. Write a poem, tell a personal story. Share your emotions in a voice note. Start a private blog. Make a video just for you. Use English not to show off, but to feel, to understand yourself, to describe your day, to speak your truth. When English becomes a tool for self-expression, it becomes meaningful. And when it's meaningful, joy follows naturally. Let me tell you something I truly believe. You are more likely to stay consistent with something that brings you joy, not stress. So be playful. Be curious. Be light. You don't have to be serious to be smart. You don't have to be perfect to make progress. You just need to enjoy the process enough to keep showing up. Now, let's talk about something difficult, but very real. What do you do when people around you don't believe in your journey? Maybe they say things like, "Why are you even learning English? You're not going to use it. You're too old for that. You still sound the same. You're wasting your time." Sometimes it's strangers. Sometimes it's classmates. And sometimes it's the people closest to you, family, friends, even your partner. And when you hear these things, it hurts, because part of you already has doubts. You already question yourself. And when someone confirms those doubts, you start to believe. But let me say this to you, from the deepest place of truth: no one has the right to decide what you're capable of, especially not someone who isn't walking your path. They don't see the work you're putting in. They don't hear the thoughts in your mind every time you speak. They don't know the courage it takes just to try, so their opinions, they don't define you. 1. Protect your inner space. You don't have to fight every critic. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Not silence in shame, but silence in strength. You know your why. You know your purpose. You don't need their approval to keep going. 2. Find people who support you even if your close circle doesn't believe in your goal. There are people out there who do. You are not alone in this journey. There are learners. It's just like you listening to this podcast right now, practicing in quiet places, building their courage word by word. Find them. Online groups, language partners, supportive teachers. Even a kind comment from a stranger can remind you you're seen, you're understood, you belong. 3. Turn doubt into drive. Sometimes the most powerful fuel is someone saying you can't, instead of breaking you. Let it build you. Say to yourself, "You don't think I can do it? Watch me. You don't believe in me? I believe in myself. You doubt my journey? I'll make it real. With or without your support, you don't need to prove them wrong. You just need to prove to yourself that you'll keep showing up." Let me share a short story. One of my listeners told me, My father laughed when I told him I wanted to be fluent. He said, "You're not smart enough for that." But instead of stopping, I listened to podcasts in secret. I practiced at night. 1 year later, I had a job interview in English, and I got it. Then she said, "I didn't do it too. Make him proud." I did it because I refused to give up on me. Yes, that's the kind of strength you have inside you too. You don't need permission. You don't need praise. You just need your reason and your resilience. Let's talk now about something that makes your journey even more powerful. Using your English voice to help others. Yes, learning English starts with you. But at some point it becomes bigger than just grammar, tests, or confidence. It becomes a way to give, a way to support, to connect, to inspire, to uplift. And when you realize that your voice, even with mistakes, even with an accent, can help someone else feel seen, heard, and understood, that's when you stop chasing fluency and start using your voice with purpose. Let's explore how. 1. Be the voice you wish you had, though. You remember how lonely it felt when you first started. All the confusion, all the fear, all the doubt. Now imagine someone just a few steps behind. You feeling exactly the same? You can be their light. Share your story, encourage them, tell them what helped you, remind them. You don't have to be perfect to keep going. Sometimes your voice is exactly what someone needs to hear to keep trying to use English to build bridges. You don't have to be fluent to connect hearts. A simple comment online, a kind message to a new friend, a thank you to a teacher or a stranger. These little words create connection. English is not just for job interviews or school. A tool to make the world feel smaller and warmer. 3. Teach someone what you know, even if you're not a professional teacher. You know something that others don't? Help a classmate understand a sentence. Explain how you remember certain words. Share your favorite method. Teaching doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you care. And when you teach, even in small ways, you deepen your own learning too. 4. Make your voice part of a bigger story. Speak about your culture. Share your traditions. Tell people where you're from, what your people are like, what you're proud of. The world doesn't need one perfect version of English. It needs diversity. It needs truth. It needs you. So don't hide your identity. Use English to express it. Let me tell you a story. A young man from Vietnam once told me, "I used to hate my voice in English. I thought no one wanted to hear it. But one day I recorded a video just talking about my life. I shared it online, and someone from Canada messaged me. They said, 'Thank you. You helped me understand your country better.' And then he said to me, 'That's the day I realized my voice mattered. Even with mistakes, even with doubt, it mattered.' Yes, your voice matters too, not just for you, but for someone else who needs your light. Let's take a moment to breathe together, because today, I want to remind you of something simple but powerful. You don't need to say a lot to make an impact. Sometimes we think that in order to be respected, we have to speak for a long time, use big words, explain everything. But here's the truth. Some of the most powerful things ever spoken were short, simple, clear. Think about it. I'm proud of you. I'm sorry. Thank you. I believe in you. These phrases are not complicated, but they carry energy, emotion, connection, and when spoken with heart, they can change everything. 1. Speak with presence. not pressure when you speak in English. Stop trying to fill space with more words. Instead, ask yourself, am I being clear? Am I being honest? Am I being present? Even one well-spoken sentence can carry more power than 10 confused ones. So slow down, breathe, speak with intention, not performance. 2. Use what you know, fully don't. Wait until you learn advanced vocabulary to express yourself. Use the simple words you already know, and use them well. Instead of, I am absolutely thrilled beyond belief, just say, I'm very happy. Simple, it's strong. Most importantly, it's yours. 3. Be comfortable with pauses in many cultures. Silence feels awkward. We rush to fill the space. But in powerful communication, silence is a tool. It gives space for your listener to absorb. It gives you time to breathe. It makes your words land more deeply. So next time you're in conversation, try this. Speak slowly. Pause when you need to. Let your words echo. Even if there are only a few, you'll be surprised how confident you sound when you stop rushing. 4. Speak less, mean more. A single sentence, spoken with truth, can leave a deeper impact than a perfect speech filled with pressure. So don't underestimate yourself if you can't say a lot yet. Start with, I agree. It's interesting. Can you explain that again? I don't know the word, but here's what I mean. These are powerful sentences, and they keep the conversation going with courage. Let me share a listener's story, he said. In a meeting, I only said one sentence, just one. But my manager said, that's the clearest point anyone made today. I was so surprised. I realized I didn't need to say a lot. I just needed to say what mattered. Yes, exactly. That's what confidence really is. It's not volume, not vocabulary, but clarity with presence. Let's talk now about something that many English learners feel. Shyness. Maybe you're naturally quiet. Maybe you're not the type to speak up in a group. Maybe you prefer listening more than talking. And in a world that often celebrates loud confidence, you might feel like your quietness is a weakness. But I want to tell you something important today. Being shy is not a flaw. It's a style. You can still be powerful even in silence. You don't need to become a different person to speak confidently. You don't need to force yourself to. Be outgoing. You don't need to perform to be respected. You can grow your voice in your own way, with gentleness, with grace, with authenticity. Let's explore how. 1. Start where you're comfortable confidence dozing. Does T mean jumping into big conversations immediately? It means stretching your comfort zone little. By little, start by speaking to yourself in the mirror. Record a voice note and listen back. Ask one small question in class. Say good morning to someone new. Every small act builds strength. 2. Honor your listening skills. Quiet people are often deep listeners, and that's a gift. Listening helps you understand tone, emotion, meaning, and rhythm. It sharpens your awareness, so when it's your turn to speak, already have the insight to say something meaningful. You don't need to speak a lot. You just need to speak wisely. 3. Practice speaking in safe spaces. Shyness doesn't mean you hate speaking. It just means you need a space that feels safe. Find that space. A trusted language partner, a private voice diary, a quiet online group. Some of the strongest voices begin in the softest rooms. Use written practice to prepare spoken words if speaking feels scary. Start with writing. Write how you'd answer common questions. Write your opinions about a topic. Write short conversations and act them out later. This builds familiarity with expression. And soon, those written words will become spoken words. Let me share a story. A young woman once told me, "I thought I would never speak English because I was too shy. I couldn't even order food in English. But I started recording myself reading one sentence every night, just one. Now I speak in meetings, still softly, but with confidence." That's the key. You don't need to be loud to be heard. You don't need to be bold to be brave. You just need to show up as you are. Take the next small step forward. Shyness is not the opposite of confidence. It's just a quieter version of it, and quiet strength, still strength. Let's talk now about a powerful shift. The moment when English stops being a subject you study, it becomes a part of who you are. Because here's the truth. Fluency is not just about how much you know, it's about how deeply English lives in your daily life. Not just in books, not just in apps, but in your thoughts, in your choices. In your world, when English becomes part of your identity, you stop waiting for permission to practice. You start living it. Let's explore how to make that shift. So English isn't just something you do for 30 minutes a day, but something that walks with you through your whole life. 1. Start thinking in English. You don't have to speak out loud all the time, but try to think in English during simple moments. When you're getting dressed, I'll wear the black shirt today. When you're hungry, I feel like eating noodles. When you're outside, it's windy today, but it feels nice. This creates natural internal practice, and it rewires your brain to live in English. 2. Make English part of your interest. So ask yourself, what do I love doing? What do I enjoy learning about? Now do that thing in English. If you love drawing, watch art tutorials in English. If you love fitness, follow trainers who speak English. If you love stories, read novels, or listen to a audiobooks. Connect English to your passions. Because when English lives where your joy lives, it becomes personal. Personal is powerful. 3. Speak English with yourself. First, want to practice confidence. Start in private. Talk to yourself while cooking. Describe your day in the mirror. Record little voice messages to future you. You are your safest audience. The more English becomes your normal, the less scary it feels to speak with others. 4. Let English be part of your expression zone. Do you wait until you're ready to express real emotions? Try journaling your feelings in English. Today I felt tired, but I'm proud I kept going. I'm afraid of failing, but I won't give up. I want to be more confident, one word at a time. This turns English into a reflection of your inner world. It stops being a performance and becomes personal truth. 5. Own English. As part of who you rue, don't need to be fluent to say, I'm someone who speaks English. I'm becoming an English speaker. English is part of my life. Because identity isn't about perfection. It's about direction. If you speak a little, if you practice, if you show up, then English is already yours. Don't keep it on the outside. Bring it home. Make it part of you. Let me share a listener's story she told me. At first, English was just a school subject. Then it became my hope, and now it's part of my voice. I use it to think. I use it to dream. I even talk to myself in English when I feel sad. It's not perfect, but it's mine. That's it. That's what it means to live the language. Carry it with you, not like a burden, but like a quiet friend who walks beside you. Let's talk now about something that steals confidence from so many learners: comparison. You look around and see, she speaks faster than me. His accent is better. They're already fluent, I'm so far behind. And suddenly, instead of feeling proud of your progress, you feel small, insecure, like you're never doing enough. But here's a truth I want you to hold on to. Your journey is not supposed to look like anyone else's. Language learning isn't a race. There is no deadline, no finish line, no one perfect way. There's only your pace, your effort, your growth. Let's talk about how to stop comparing. Start trusting yourself. 1. Remember what you don't see when you hear. Someone speak fluently, you're hearing thereafter, not there before. You didn't see the nights they struggled to pronounce, basic words, the months they were too afraid to speak, the mistakes they made and still make. You're comparing your chapter. It's 3 to their chapter 20. It's not fair to you, so instead of saying I'm behind, say I'm still becoming, because becoming takes time. 2. Track your own progress. Want to see how far you've come? Look back. Listen to an old recording of your voice in English. Read something you wrote months ago. Think about a word you used today that used to confuse you. Growth. It's quiet, it doesn't always feel dramatic, but when you stop and reflect, you realize you've moved forward. 3. Use others as inspiration, not measurement. Instead of comparing, try this mindset. If they can do it, maybe I can too. Let others inspire you, not defeat you. Let their success show you what's possible. But never let it erase your worth. Their path is theirs. Yours is beautiful too. 4. Speak from where you are, not where you wish you were. You don't need to wait until your English is perfect to speak with power. Speak from today's level. Use today's words. Bring today's courage. Tomorrow will bring more tools. But today is enough. Let me tell you a story. A man once told me, I watched other learners speak fluently, and I wanted to quit. I felt slow, behind, but then I started. Looking at my progress, I realized I used to fear saying hello. Now I can have a full conversation. I'm not slow, I'm steady. Yes, steady is powerful, and your growth, even if quiet, even if slow, is still real. So don't let someone else's chapter steal your peace. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Let's talk now about something that challenges every English learner. Slow results. You've been showing up. You've been listening, practicing, trying, but it still feels like I'm not improving. Why is this taking so long? Will I ever get better? Let me tell you something with love and truth. Growth in language is slow, till one day it isn't. For weeks, maybe months, it feels like nothing's happening. Then, suddenly, you understand a full sentence without thinking. You speak without translating in your head. You use a word you forgot you even learned. That's not magic. That's compound effort. Let's talk about how to stay motivated even when it feels like nothing is changing. 1. Trust the invisible progress learning. A language is like growing roots underground. For a long time, you see nothing, but something is happening beneath the surface. New connections, new memories, new confidence being built piece by piece. So even when results are invisible, progress is still there. 2. Measure process, not just outcome. Instead of asking, "Am I fluent yet?" ask, "Did I practice today? Did I speak more than last week? Did I keep going even when I felt stuck?" Those are victories too. It's real growth. That's discipline, not just desire. 3. Create visual reminders of progress. Your journey in a journal, a voice diary, or a wall chart. Mark small wins like, "Today I ordered food in English. Today I learned 5 new words. Today I understood a movie scene without subtitles." Your motivation will grow when you see your progress. Even if it's small, it's real. 4. Use the power of yet you say, "I don't understand this." Change it to, "I don't understand this yet." You say, "I can't say that word." Change it to, "I can't say that word yet." It's one word yet opens the door to your future growth. It reminds you you are becoming and becoming. Takes time. Let me tell you a listener's story. He said, "I practiced English for 6 months and I felt stuck. I was about to quit, but then I watched a movie. I realized I understood 50% without subtitles. I almost cried. It wasn't fast, but it was happening." Yes, it is happening right now. It's even as you listen, it's even as you doubt. You're growing so. Don't quit in the middle. The results will come not because of one perfect moment, but because you kept showing up in all the imperfect ones now. Let's talk about something practical, something that gives your learning direction. Personal English routine. Because here's the truth. You don't need 5 hours a day. Don't need a perfect schedule. You just need something small, consistent. It's when yours. When your practice has structure, even just a little, you build trust with yourself. You stop waiting for motivation. And you start relying on rhythm. Let's build that rhythm together right now. 1. Start with what you have. How much time can you realistically give to English each day? 10 minutes? 20? Even just 5? That's enough to begin. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for sustainability. Because what you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. 2. Choose 3 core skills to focus on. Let's keep it simple. Every routine should touch at least 3 areas. Listening, speaking, vocabulary, grammar. Here's a sample daily plan. 10 to 30 minutes total. Listening 510 MIN. Watch a short video or podcast in English. Use subtitles if needed. Focus on natural rhythm and tone. Speaking 5 to 10 minutes. Talk about what you just heard. Summarize it aloud. Record yourself or talk in the mirror. Vocabulary, grammar, 510 MIN. Write down new words. Look up one grammar rule. Make your own example sentences. That's it. Short, simple, powerful. 3. Use habit triggers. Want to make your routine stick. Connect it to something you already do. Listen to English while brushing your teeth. Practice vocabulary. After lunch, talk to yourself in English before bed. These small triggers make your routine part of your life, not just a task. 4. Track it with kindness. Create a simple tracker. Mark each day you practiced, even if just 1 minute. But here's the key. If you miss a day, don't quit. Don't punish yourself. Just return. Progress is not about being perfect. It's about returning again and again. Let me share a story. A learner once said, "I used to think I had to study for 1 hour or it didn't count. So when I missed a day, I felt like a failure. But then I started a 10-minute routine. I did it before breakfast. I haven't missed a day. In 6 months, and I've grown more than ever before? Yes, small steps, big change. You don't need a full plan to begin. You just need a few minutes and a little courage to stay consistent. Let's talk now about the heart of your learning journey, your mindset. Because language is not just about your mouth. It's about your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs. Asterisk, and on the days when your confidence feels low, when you feel slow, unsure, or embarrassed, it's not your English that needs fixing. Your inner voice that needs support. Let's talk about how to build a mindset that keeps you going even when you feel like stopping. 1. Speak kindly to yourself. Words you tell yourself matter more than you think. When you say, "I'm terrible, I'll never get this. Everyone is better than me," your brain believes it. Your motivation shuts down. Instead, say, "I'm learning. Mistakes are part of growth. I'm showing up, and that's powerful." Don't need to lie to yourself. Just be kinder. Kindness creates safety. Safety builds confidence. 2. Redefine what success means. Success is not always speaking perfectly. Sometimes success is saying one word you used to forget, understanding. A joke in English. Not giving up when it gets hard. Change how you measure progress. You'll change how you feel about yourself. 3. Remember why you started when motivation is low. Go back to your why. Why did you want to learn English? What dream does it connect to? What kind of life are you building? Keep your why close. Write it down. Say it out loud. Repeat it daily. Your why is your anchor. 4. Stop comparing. Start encouraging instead of saying they're better than me. Say they're proof that it's possible. Let other people's progress inspire you, not pressure you. We're all on different timelines. And someone out there is watching you and thinking, "I wish I could speak like that. Let me share." A listener's message, she said, "One day I felt like giving up. Couldn't speak well, and I cried. But then I remembered something you said. Fluency is not a destination. It's a practice." I said that sentence to myself. I kept going. Now I speak with joy, not perfection. Yes, that's what mindset does. It holds you when you feel weak. It reminds you of your strength, brings you back when you lose your way. Your mindset is your inner teacher. Feed it love, feed it courage, feed it belief. Let's talk now about something that often feels like the enemy. Mistakes you. Say the wrong word, forget the grammar rule. You freeze in the middle of a sentence, and suddenly you feel embarrassed, frustrated, like you'll never get this right. But I want to shift your entire view of mistakes right here, right now. Because here's the truth. Mistakes are not sign of failure. They are a sign of effort. They're proof that you're trying, and trying is where all progress begins. Let's talk about how to make mistakes your friend, not your fear. 1. Redefine the word mistake. What if we stopped calling them mistakes, started calling them lessons in motion? Because every time you mess up, you learn what needs more practice, what confuses you, what your brain is still building. You don't grow from avoiding mistakes. You grow by going through them. 2. Make mistakes out loud. Many learners wait until they're perfect to speak. But guess what? Perfection never comes before practice. And practice requires mistakes. Speak out loud, even if it's messy, even if it's awkward, even if it's wrong. Because the mistake you make today becomes the strength you use tomorrow. 3. Laugh with yourself. Not at yourself, you said kitchen, when you meant chicken. It's okay. Laugh a little. You forgot a simple word in front of your friend? Smile and keep going. English isn't just a language. It's a human experience. Let it be fun. Let it be light. You are allowed to enjoy the process, even when you stumble. 4. Celebrate the courage it takes. To make a mistake takes bravery to try. It takes strength to speak. Every time you make a mistake, you're proving that you had the courage to show up. That is not failure. That is success. Let me share a story. A young learner once said, "I made a mistake in front of my whole class. I used the wrong tense, and everyone laughed. I went home and cried. The next day I came back and made the same sentence again, correctly. My teacher smiled and said, 'That's growth. I'll never forget that.' Yes, that's the truth. Growth often comes right after a mistake. So don't fear them. Use them. Learn from them. Grow because of them." Now it's time to talk about something very real. Real-life conversations in English. The ones that happen suddenly, at the airport, in the elevator, at your job, or when someone unexpectedly says, "Hi, where are you from?" And your brain goes, "Wait, I'm not ready." What the day? Say, "How do I answer?" Your heart beats faster. You freeze. You panic. Or you smile, nod, and walk away, feeling frustrated. Sound familiar? It happens to every learner. But here's the secret. You don't need to be ready for everything. You just need to be ready to try. Let's talk about how to handle real conversations with calm, clarity, and confidence. 1. Have go-to. Sentences ready. You don't have to create every sentence from zero. Prepare a few basic sentences that you can use. Anytime? Sorry, can you say that again? I'm still learning English. Can I take a second to think? I don't know that word. What does it mean? I'm not sure how to say it, but I'll try. These simple phrases give you control. They create space. They show the other person you're trying, and that's enough. 2. Breathe before you answering the moment of pressure. The most powerful thing you can do is pause and breathe. Even just 2 seconds. It helps your brain relax. It helps your words come out more clearly. And it shows that you're calm, even if you're nervous inside. Fluency is not fast. Fluency is clear. 3. Repeat back what you heard. If someone says something and you're not sure you understood, repeat part of what they said. You mean? I go last after the bridge. Or paraphrase to check. So the office is on the 2nd floor, right? This shows you're engaged and gives you a second to process. Smart communication is not about knowing everything. It's about clarifying with confidence. For stay focused on connection, not perfection. The goal of speaking is not to be impressive, it's to connect, even if you forget words. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, if you show sincerity, people will understand you. People remember your energy more than your vocabulary. Let me share a story. A woman told me, "I was at a train station and asked someone for help in English. I made a lot of mistakes, but I smiled and I kept trying. The man smiled back and said, 'You speak well. Thank you for asking.' That gave me confidence for the whole day." Yes, the power of human connection. You don't need perfect English to be respected. You just need to be present, polite, and brave. Now let's talk about something that many learners fear. Speaking English in formal or professional situations. Job interviews, meetings, presentations, phone calls with clients. Boss. These moments feel bigger, more serious, and sometimes scarier because you don't want to sound unprofessional. You don't want to make mistakes. You don't want to lose opportunities because of your English. But here's the truth. You don't need perfect English to sound professional. You You just need clarity, structure, and calm energy. Let's break that down together. So next time you're in a professional setting, you walk in with confidence, not fear. 1. Start with a polite opener, no matter the setting. Start your sentence with politeness and structure. Here are simple phrases that always sound professional. I'd like to share my thoughts on. May I ask a quick question? Me clarify that point. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. From my perspective, I believe, even if your grammar isn't perfect, these phrases show confidence and respect. 2. Prepare for common questions in advance. If you're preparing for a job interview or meeting, don't leave it to chance. Practice answering these common questions. Tell me about yourself. Why are you interested in this role? What are your strengths? How do you handle challenges? Write your answers. Say them out loud. Record them. Get comfortable with your own story. You don't need big words. You need clear, simple honesty. 3. Speak slowly with purpose in professional situations. Fast speech isn't impressive. Clear speech is so slow down. Pause between ideas. Emphasize your key words. Breathe. You'll sound calm, confident, and in control, even if your vocabulary is limited. 4. Don't hide your learning journey. You can say, English is my second language, so thank you for your patience. If I say something unclear, please feel free to ask me to repeat. I'm still working on my fluency, but I'm confident in my ideas. These small admissions don't make you look weak. They make you look honest, human, and professional. Because professionalism isn't perfection. It's how you handle pressure with respect. Let me tell you a story. A man once told me, I went for a job interview and forgot how to say experience. I froze, but then I smiled and said, sorry, I forgot the word, but I've worked in this field for 5 years. The interviewer laughed kindly and said, thank you for being honest. I got the job. Double quotes. Yes, because what matters most is how you speak, not what you forget. Clarity, confidence, character. That's professional English. Now let's talk about something deeply personal, your English voice. Have you ever heard yourself speak in English and thought, I sound strange. My accent is ugly. I don't like how I speak. You listen to others speak smoothly and think, why can't I sound like that? This kind of shame is quiet but heavy, keeps so many people silent. But today, I want to invite you to shift something powerful. Your voice is not a mistake. Your accent is not a problem. Your tone is not something to hide. Your voice is you, and it deserves to be heard just as it is. Let's talk about how to fall in love with your English voice, even if it's still growing, even if it's not perfect, even if it sometimes trembles. 1. Your accent is your identity, not your limitation. Your accent tells a story. It says, I come from a different place. I've learned something new. I've been brave enough to grow. And that is beautiful. Native speakers don't all sound the same. So why should you? Don't chase perfect. Chase clarity and truth. Speak with your accent. Speak with pride. 2. Listen to your voice with kindness. Record yourself speaking, not to judge, not to criticize, but to appreciate. Say something simple. My name is. Today I feel. I'm learning and I'm proud. Now play it back. And listen like you would to a friend, with kindness, with encouragement, with love. Your voice is growing. Treat it like something valuable. 3. Stop trying to sound like someone else, you Dan. Need to copy someone's accent to be accepted. You don't need to sound American or British, like your teacher. You need to sound like you. But in English, that is powerful. That is authentic. That is enough. For speak as if someone needs to hear you. Sometimes the best way to love your voice is to realize that someone else might need to hear it. Maybe your story will inspire them. Maybe your energy will calm them. Maybe your words, imperfect and real, will give them hope. Speak like someone's listening, because they are. Let me share a listener's story. She told me, I used to hate how I sounded in English, but then I recorded myself talking about my dreams. And when I listened, I cried. It's not because it was perfect, but because it was mine. Yes, that's what falling in love with your voice means. Not waiting for perfection, but recognizing beauty in your growth. Your voice is your power. It becomes stronger when you stop hiding it. Now we go deeper. Let's talk about something many people never expect from learning a language. Not just career growth, not just travel, not just passing an exam, but something more personal, something more emotional. Healing, self-expression, emotional strength. Because English, or any language you learn, is not just about communication with others. It's also about the way you speak to yourself. 1. English as a safe space to feels. Sometimes your native language carries pain, maybe memories, maybe emotions you don't want to feel again. But in English, you can say things in a new way. You can give your feelings fresh air. Try writing in English. I feel overwhelmed. I want to be better. I'm proud of myself today. Not okay, but I'm growing. English can become a quiet space where your emotions can breathe. 2. Express what you couldn't say before. Some people say, I can express parts of myself in English that I couldn't say in my own language. Why? Because English gives distance. And sometimes that little distance helps you be braver. You can talk about your dreams, your pain, your hopes, your anger, your fear, without judgment, without shame. It's not about hiding. It's about healing. 3. Create a voice that's fully yours. Your English voice is not just a translation of your first language. It's a new version of you, one that you are building intentionally. This is your chance to decide, what kind of person am I becoming in English? What values do I speak with? How do I want to sound when I talk to others and to myself? You are not just learning words. You're creating a voice, a way of being, a way of connecting, and that is powerful. Let me share a listener's story. She said, I used to feel broken in my life, but in English, I started journaling. I wrote things I couldn't say to anyone. I cried. I healed. And now, every time I speak English, I feel like I'm speaking from a place of freedom. Yes, that's what language can do. It can help you return to yourself, and the more you express in English, the more you may realize this is not just a language. This is a mirror, a tool, a healing path. Let's talk now about something that changes everything. Community. Because no matter how motivated you are, no matter how many videos you watch, how many words you memorize, there will be moments you feel tired, moments you feel lost, moments you feel like giving up. And in those moments, you need people who understand, people who remind you you're not doing this alone. You don't need a crowd. You just need connection. Let's talk about why community matters and how to build one around your English journey. 1. We grow faster when we grow together. Learning a language in isolation is hard. There's no feedback, no encouragement, no real-world practice. But when you surround yourself with others, you get support on bad days. You get celebration on good ones. You learn from what others are struggling with. Do their questions help you? Your courage helps them. You rise together. 2. Find just one English partner. You don't need 100 people. You just need one person you can speak with regularly. That person could be a classmate, a friend online, someone in a Facebook group, a language exchange partner on an app. Speak once a week, even 10 minutes, even by message. You'll be amazed at how much this one connection builds your confidence. 3. Be brave enough to start the conversations. Many learners are waiting. I wish someone would practice with me. I want to talk, but I'm shy. Be the one who starts. Say, hey, I'm learning to want to help each other. I'm nervous, but I'd love to try speaking once a week. We don't have to be perfect, just present. Someone is waiting for a friend like you. And when you offer first, you create space for both of you to grow. 4. Lift others as you rise. When you encourage others, you grow stronger yourself. Cheer for someone's progress. Help correct their sentence kindly. Tell them don't. Give up, you're doing great. You'll be surprised. The more you lift others, the more confident you become too. Let me share a message from a listener, he said. I was studying alone for years. I felt invisible. But then I joined a small English group online. At first I was quiet, but they welcomed me. And now, I speak more than I ever thought I could. They changed my life. Yes, because community does that. It reminds you, you're not strange. You're not weak. You're not alone. You're part of something. Let's talk now about fear, because no matter how motivated you are, no matter how many words you've learned, there's still that moment. Your voice shakes, your chest tightens, your mind goes blank. What if I mess up? What if they don't understand me? What if I sound stupid? But here's the truth. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear means care. And what you care about, you can grow through. Let's talk about how to turn your fear into fuel, how to walk through it instead of running from it. 1. Feel the fear and speak anyway. Bravery is not the absence of fear. It's action with fear. Every time you speak English while your hands are shaking, while your mind is racing, while your heart is pounding, you are training your courage. You're saying to fear, I see you, but I'm moving anyway. That is power. That is growth. 2. Understand where fear comes from. Your fear is not weakness. It comes from wanting to be respected, wanting to be understood, wanting to belong. That's human. The more you understand your fear, the less power it has over you. Name it. Breathe through it and keep going. 3. Practice in safe, low-pressure spaces. Want to build confidence. Start where it's safe. Record voice messages to yourself. Speak English to a pet. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Practice. With a friend who encourages you, every time you practice, you teach your brain, speaking is not dangerous. It's okay. I'm safe. And slowly. Fear becomes familiarity. 4. Use fear as proof that you're growing. If you feel fear, it means you're outside your comfort zone. You're stretching. You're becoming more than you were. Celebrate that. Say to yourself, this fear is proof that I'm alive. Wake and becoming. Don't let fear be your prison. Let it be your push. Let me share a message from a learner, he said. Every time I spoke English, I was scared. But then I realized the fear wasn't stopping me. I was. So I started speaking anyway. And now, the fear is still there. But I walk with it, and my voice is stronger than ever. Yes, that's what bravery looks like. Not loud, not perfect, but steady, honest, alive. Let's pause for a moment and look back. Look at how far you've come, not just in English, but in the kind of person you're becoming. Because learning to speak a language is more than memorizing grammar rules. It's more than mastering vocabulary, more than saying things correctly. It's a mirror. It shows you how you grow. It reveals who you're becoming. It teaches you about patience, courage, and resilience. So now I ask you, what has your English journey taught you about you? 1. Every struggle has a story behind it. Maybe you started English because of a dream, a job, a person, a vision of who you want to be, and maybe along the way it got hard. You got tired, you got lost, but you kept going, and every mistake you made. It wasn't just about language, it was part of your becoming too. You are more than a learner. You are a storyteller. You've lived things. You've felt things. You've learned things that the world needs to hear. And now, you're gaining the words to tell those stories in English. Not perfectly, not quickly, but powerfully. Your voice matters. Your perspective is valuable. Your journey is worth sharing. 3. Your English doesn't need to be finished to be. Beautiful. Let go of the idea that one day I'll finally be fluent and then I'll start speaking. Because that day is a moving target, and life doesn't wait for perfect. You're already enough. Right now, with the words you know, with the courage you carry, with the voice you're still shaping, your English is not almost, it is alive. Let me share a story from a listener, she said. I always thought I had to wait until I sounded fluent to use my voice, but then I realized my voice is already fluent in honesty. It's fluent in emotion. It's fluent in trying. And now I speak with love, not fear. Yes, because the real fluency is not in grammar. It's in truth. This is it. The moment you stop waiting, you've waited long enough. For the perfect sentence, the right time, the full confidence, the approval of others. The day when all fear disappears. But now, you see it differently. You don't need to be fluent to be brave. You just need to be ready to speak anyway. And guess what? You are one. You've already started. You've spoken when it was hard. You've tried when it felt embarrassing. You've listened, repeated, stumbled, and stood back up. That's not the beginning. It's becoming. You don't need more permission. You don't need more perfection. You just need to keep going. The door is already open. You're already walking through it. 2. You're not behind. You're becoming. Please hear this. You're not late. You're not slow. You're not bad. At English, you're exactly where you need to be, learning at your pace, becoming in your time. Everyone has a different road. You are building yours with courage. Your voice belongs here, not later. 3. Use what you know now you don't. Need 10,000 words to be powerful. Sometimes the strongest sentence is, I understand. I believe in myself. I will keep trying. I am proud of my progress. I speak anyway. Simple words. Spoken with heart. That's fluency in bravery. Let me share one last story before we move into the final part. A man said, 4 years I waited, said when I'm fluent, I'll speak. But I was tired of waiting. So I joined a language meet. I was scared. I spoke slowly, but people smiled. They listened. And I realized I don't have to be perfect to be heard. I just have to be present. Yes, that's the moment. When something changes inside you, when you stop waiting, and you start speaking, even with fear, even with pauses, even with flaws, you speak anyway. Take a moment. Breathe in. You've come a long way, not just in this podcast, but in your life, in your mindset, in your voice. Let's look back, not with pressure, but with pride. You didn't stop when it got hard. You didn't quit when it felt slow. You didn't wait for someone to come speak for you. You showed up, even when you were scared, even when your voice trembled, even when you thought, I'm not ready. But here's the truth. You were never supposed to be ready. You were supposed to begin, and you did. You began. You practiced. You listened. You spoke. You healed. You reached out. You reflected. You stood up for your own growth. This journey was not just about English. It was about you. It was about believing you're smart enough even when you forgot a word. It was about showing up with courage even when you felt small. It was about becoming someone who no longer hides their voice, because now you don't apologize for learning. You don't compare yourself endlessly. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You know the truth now. Fluency is not the goal. Presence is. Bravery is. Expression is. Connection is. You are not behind. Becoming, and becoming takes time. Yes. But it also takes permission. And now you've given that permission to yourself. To try. To be seen. To be heard. To make mistakes out loud. To grow out loud. To live out loud. That is not small. That is extraordinary. So here's what I want to leave you with. Speak, even when you feel unsure. Speak, even when the words come slowly. Speak, even when no one claps. Speak, because your voice deserves air, because your story deserves a language, because someone, maybe even you, needs to hear it. And finally, you don't need to be fluent to be brave. You already are. You've proven that every step of the way. So don't wait anymore. Speak anyway. The world is ready for your voice. Now it's your turn to be ready for it too. Thank you for walking this journey with me. I believe in you. Proud of you. I'm always cheering for you. This is not the end. It's the beginning of everything you're becoming. Let's speak again soon.